Thank you, Marie. Hope you guys all recognize that song. It's from The Sound of Music, and I don't know if many of you guys can relate to it, but I certainly can. Because to me it describes, if we want to make it scientific, how your confidence level might change when you encounter a challenge or obstacle in your way. So we all have that, challenge accepted phase, yes, and then we build ourselves up and prepare for what may come, and then when we see the obstacle, we have that oh crap moment. Why the hell did I think this was a good idea? I'm not good enough. I don't think I can do it. I haven't got the skills. I might actually screw up really badly. And when we reach that point, one of two things can happen. One is we can think rationally about it and realize that we actually have got the skills and knowledge to tackle whatever obstacle we face, and that we can deal with whatever outcome happens, good or bad. The second thing that might happen is that we might allow our self-doubt to inhibit our action. When I took on this topic, I thought it'd be pretty straightforward. I've given lectures before, but this is actually the most difficult lecture I've ever had to give. Not just because it's more rah, but because I'm used to clinical lectures where I can clearly define my subject and I know that I've got the knowledge to present it. But the irony of this is that I don't actually feel that I had the confidence to present this topic because I don't see myself as a confident person. And a lot of people will say to me, but you seem really confident. But people's perception of how you are isn't how you perceive yourself. And the interesting thing is the more people you speak to, the more you realize not many of us think that we have self-confidence. Because we know that confidence changes according to situation, environment, audience, experience, knowledge, and there's also factors that play on us like cultural age and gender. But what we do have is a balance of self-confidence and self-doubt, and we're constantly battling both. And how we overcome self-doubt is how we start to discover our self-confidence. So, I'll share a bit about me. When I graduated from vet school nearly 11 years ago, I wanted to be a large animal vet. And while I had very encouraging professors, I was told that I would never become one by rural practitioners in the field. Reasons being, I was a city girl. I had never seen a cow before. I got to vet school, which is a slight obstacle. I'd never been on a farm, and I just didn't fit the mold. Okay, so when I was in my third year of vet school, I applied for a whole bunch of large animal job experience positions, and I got rejected from pretty much all of them. And I was told that those job experiences were being used to screen for potential employees, and I would never be hired at their practices. So I had two decisions. One was I could either become a small animal practitioner, which was the mold I fit, or I could become a dairy vet, which is what I wanted to do. So I persevered and eventually found a vet who took me on. And he said something to me that has stuck with me my entire career. Okay, he was an older white guy, the typical rural practitioner, the exact same as the ones that had rejected me before. And he said to me, "Crystal, I know you don't know very much about cows, but I like your attitude, so I will teach you everything I know." And he did. And I made sure I was a damn good student. I spent many, many hours with him, and in my final year, I took as many large animal rotations as I could. And when I graduated, I was one of 25 vets in Canada and USA that was accepted into the Summer Dairy Institute program at Cornell University. And I was also at the same time offered an internship at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. So I took the internship, which was one of the best years of my life. And then after that, I found myself on a plane to New Zealand with 2 suitcases and a one-way ticket, avoiding an earthquake in California, in search of dairy cows. but in reality, hobbits. Okay? That was 10 years ago when Hobbiton was still just cardboard facades, and it was a highly emotional moment for me to be there. But anyways, that's just nerdiness. So life never turns out as you expect, right? I ended up meeting a dairy farmer 2 months into my arrival here, and I'm still here because I married him. So after 4 years, I actually went to small animal practice, okay? And the first small animal practice I was in had really high standards, and the nurses, when they saw me coming to surgery, would go, "Oh, here comes the large animal vet, uh-oh." And I thought, oh, shite, like, what have I done? Here I was. I had been typecasted as a small animal vet, and not being believed I could be a large animal vet. Now as a large animal vet, not being believed I could do small animal. What, if that wasn't irony, I don't know what is. So I had, again, 2 decisions. I could either carry on as normal and persevere and learn, or I could decide that it wasn't for me. But luckily, I had an extremely supportive team despite the jokes. That was just their MO. And I had a very good boss, and they taught me a lot, huge amount. And they also got me to find an area of focus. So I got sent onto a 2-day dentistry course on a weekend in Auckland because I sucked at dentistry, basically. I was really, really crap at it. When they put the dental card in front of me at this job, for the first time I looked at it and I said, "What is that? I don't even know what that is, much less how to use it." You know, and they thought, "Oh, she really needs help." So they sent me on this course, and after that, you know, I really, the specialist that taught that course really ignited my passion, and I decided that was going to be my focus. And since then, I've taken every opportunity to study in dentistry, and I wrote my memberships in 2016. And I also had the opportunity to start a referral practice in Hamilton, which I thought was a terrible idea for a very, very long time. But I thought, oh, heck, why not? Give it a go. So I did, amongst a lot of self-doubt. And the funny thing about the referral practice is the more I did advanced cases and the more I learned, the more I knew, the more I realized there was so much more I didn't know, and there were so many more things that could go wrong, and it actually increased my self-doubt. But everything's a good learning experience. So I'm one of those people who like to look back at all my cases and really beat myself for when they don't go right. But over the years, I've had to decide, you know, I've had to realize that they're not bad cases and they're not bad outcomes, okay? Because you can only do what you can with what you have, all right? Whether it's the tools, the experience, the knowledge, the support you have, okay? You can only do what you have. And just because you do it one way one time, doesn't mean you can't do it better the next time, okay? And we all have negative experiences, right? The difficult client that accuses us for being in the profession for the wrong reason. The case that doesn't go how you planned it exactly, because which cases do. You know, the unexpected patient death, the bad euthanasia, okay, the support that you thought that you should have got, but that you didn't. You know, all of these negative experiences I found, I could either allow them to control how I perceived things, or I could use them as a platform to build off of, rather than letting them inhibit my progression. Because if we don't control them, we know that, you know, we are under a lot of stressors in the veterinary field. You know, it's getting harder. The environments that we're working in are only going to get tougher. We work long hours, you know, what Megan illustrated before. And if I didn't learn this, the outcome might have been very different. I probably wouldn't even be a vet anymore, because I have thought about leaving a lot, okay? So I became a mother for the first time recently, all right? And motherhood, again, is another interesting thing, interesting job where it changes your entire worldview, because you just can't prepare for anything. No matter how many university degrees you have or how many birth videos you watch, which I was one of those, You just can't prepare for how much your life is going to change. And one of the biggest challenges that comes with motherhood is having that confidence to return back to work, especially when a sole business is just dependent on you within your group. Okay? And you want to come back in the capacity that you were in pre-motherhood, but you can't because you're not that person anymore. So you have to learn a new set of skills and get a new set of tools, and you have to try and work out work-family balance, and it isn't easy. And I haven't actually figured that out yet. So if anyone has tips, just let me know. Okay. So when I look back retrospectively at everything that's happened in my life, there are a few things that I've learned. One is you can't actually plan and prepare for everything. And it's really hard for me to say because I like to plan 5 years in advance. Okay? But at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to roll with it. And when you do, you realize that all the experiences and all the knowledge that you have has already equipped you with the tools that you need to handle whatever situation comes up. And once you realize that you have those skills, then you're able to embrace change. And when we need to embrace change, because if we don't change, we don't progress. And if we don't progress, we don't know what limitations we can push. Okay? And then the other thing that I found was failures aren't failures. We're talking about that just now. They're actually just situations that don't turn out the way you plan. And also, the more crucial thing is to have a good support network. So we've got tons of wonderful people in this industry, and it is absolutely crucial to support yourself with good colleagues, mentors, leaders, role models, friends and family, because they will provide you that emotional support when you need it. But the most important thing that I found, and this is what I have said to a lot of younger girls that I've worked with over the years, is that it doesn't matter what you can or can't do, or what you know or don't know. What matters is your attitude. Because if your attitude is, I can't do it, then you won't. But if your attitude is, I'm not sure how to do it, but I will find out, or I don't know if I can, but I'll give it a go, or I've got this far, let's just see how far I can get if I take one more step, then that's when you start to find out exactly what you're truly capable of. And I think that once you find out what you're truly capable of, that's when you can start building your self-confidence.